Peace and love, family. It's Alphamar coming to you live. I just wanted to come and share some thoughts with the light bearers. And I am specifying the light bearers because I am in full understanding how the separation process has already begun. It's taking place, we're in the middle of it. And so there are some of us who are able to see things that others just aren't. And I'm not taking anything from anybody. I'm not trying to downgrade or nothing like that. I understand, the spiritual levels where we currently are in this day and time, and the separation process has begun. So, all the light bearers, I wanted to share some information because I see LA is the hotbed, it's the current hotbed for this whole roundup of immigrants, right? And what that's all about. Because we look at the news media, and one thing I've learned about just paying attention to how the media operates, whenever they center their focus and attention on a certain story, best believe it's propaganda behind that. The things that they don't want you to see is what they hide from you. They don't report on, they don't tell you about. Those are the things they want to keep under the rugs. But when they want your attention diverted, when they want to paint a certain narrative, the media hones in on something, and that's what they show you on the airways. So this whole LA rallying up all of these people from Mexico and other parts of the world who come here looking for a better way of life, and the same way a lot of Europeans had done in the recent past, and but just how racism affects the mind, the sickness that affects the mind. You can't see yourself in other people, right? So you come here in search of a better way of life, and take from the land from other people and do whatever deems necessary for you to get what you need out of life, and you settle in and get comfortable, and somebody else comes and attempts to do the exact same thing. And how racism works is you don't have empathy, you can't see yourself, you villainize, and you make them out to be the demons. In fact, you are the true demon. But anyway, that's really not what I wanted to come to say. Be very careful not to fall for the traps of these diabolical people, because the traps are laid out all around us. And if we don't know how to spot them, we'll fall victim to them. So my question is, what happened to Antifa? Those of you who know what Antifa is and what they're about, and you do your research and you understand clearly what happened to Antifa. Where did they go? They just fell off the face of the map. They suddenly disappeared, never to be seen again. Or do they reappear when needed? Right? So please know that the plan is still in play. These people have a plan. They've already mapped it out. They have books written about it. They wrote movies about it. I mean, they tell it to you and all, and when they get all together in their organizations and the cameras are rolling and they don't hide it. They tell you they're preparing for a new world order. They're telling you they're preparing for a great reset. So what does that look like? What does that entail? What does that mean? What is the plan laid out? When you hear the words New World Order and the Great Reset, what does that mean? Do you think they're just playing around and playing jokes on each other? Or do you not see that this is what they are actively working towards? So hence coming back all the way full circle to what we're seeing today in LA, right? And how they're showing you on their corporate-owned media, and we all know who owns that media, is the same people who's behind the whole planning and mapping of this whole new world order that they had planned out, right? It's the same people who own the media, is the same people who's showing you all these depictions that's being viewed in the airwaves. right? So that's why I say I'm speaking to the light bearers family, because some of us just can't see and we won't ever accept, right? Because if we just, our minds don't go that far, right? They just don't go there that far. And so they can't see. But if you understand what I'm saying and what I'm talking about and what it really means, then I just need you to really hone in and pay closer attention to what's going on around you. And because it's actually going on to you. So I'm seeing depictions of um, palace of bricks being laid out again. Again, I asked what happened to Antifa, right? The fire starters, the ones with during the whole Black Lives Matter rally that we now understand was a trope, too. Okay, and so they laying bricks out at downtown government buildings during the height of the protests. Okay, so now I'm seeing this is happening again here in LA. I saw a depiction of police cars. And it's like, so for me, it's so obvious. Police cars parked on the freeway, and the people on the bridge and on the overhead is throwing bricks and stuff down to parked police vehicles on the freeway. Just so happen to be all parked in the same location, right? While bricks and stuff is being thrown and busted windows on the police cars, and this is the depictions that they show you on their media. Okay, family, come on. It's like for me, it's obvious. And it's also no coincidence that it's always race related, right? Whenever you see the conflict and the friction arises and rising up from the gullies, from the, it's always race related in some kind of way. Here we are again. Another hint is you'll notice that their faces are always covered. The people in the crowd, right? So they're paid actors. A lot of them are paid actors, and so they cover their face because they use them over and over again. They use them in Black Lives Matter. They're using them now. I noticed that when all of these cities and towns and industries were going up in smoke all over the place, all over the country, fires being started, and they claimed that they were catching all these arsons, right, who started these fires. I couldn't help but to notice that anytime they put them on TV being handcuffed by the police, they never showed their faces. I saw like 3 or 4 different depictions, and I was like, how come you never see these people's faces? because, because they skim scamming. They skim scamming. It's what they do. So what's the ultimate plan? The ultimate plan is to get your emotions at the highest heightened sense of aggression, to where you can't take no more. You take to the streets and you snap. And then they're able to bring out the big guns, right? To bring out their National Guards and whatever else they need to do to clamp down on society strong. That's the ultimate plan. Actually, what I see, and none of us know can predict the future and the timeline and what's exactly is going to happen and when it's going to happen. And I don't even like to do that. I just go on basic history. History is best qualified to reward all research, right? History is best qualified to reward all research. So if you know what happened back then, you can get a good idea, a feel of what's going to happen in the future. That's just like common sense knowledge. So I gain a lot of my insight off of just knowing the history of what they were able to accomplish in the past and watching it all repeat itself, right? And just learning from others, those around me and those who came before me, who written stories about it and shared their own personal journeys about it and things about how they operate, right? And when you learn these things, you can see it clear as day. So the goal is mass psychosis. If you don't know what that is, look that up. YouTube has an excellent video about it. The organization After School did an excellent video on mass psychosis, breaking that down and what it means, what it looks like, and what it entails. So I implore any of you who don't have a full understanding of what mass psychosis is, Go on to YouTube and pull that up. Mass Psychosis is the name of the video. It's a short video. It's about 25 minutes long, and it's done by After School. Watch it. Watch it 2 or 3 times if you have to get a full gist of what's actually taking place in that society. And I can gather is that they want America to end up like Palestine, right? It's the same blood brothers. People be like, "Oh, America, Israel owns America." No, they are the same people, family. The same ones who run the show in America behind the scenes are the same ones run the show in Israel behind the scenes. There is no separation. They're the same people. They're the same blood brothers. They're the exact same, and they've been this way since their beginning. This ain't nothing new. When you go back into their history and learn about what they've done all over the world before they went to Israel, before they infiltrated America, and you realize that this is their pattern. This is what they do. So it's not any differentiation between the two. Okay, they're one and the same, right? So what they've been able to accomplish in Palestine, under the watchful eye of the whole world watched them, and they're still doing. You know what I'm saying? Wiping those people off the face of the map. Look at history. They've done it. They've done it in America, right? To the natives of America. They've done it of Australia. They've done this before. This is not new for them. Read 1804 by George Orwell, because I'm of mind that he was a defector. There's no way he could have written that book and had that type of insight without having inside knowledge, right? So that's what I see him as. George Orwell probably grew up in the family, right? And defected. And there are some that do. That's what I see. I could be wrong, but read that book, 1804 by George Orwell, and that'll give you a good indication of what you can expect. What they want is your emotions heightened on high. There's people losing their mind in that society. That's why I had to leave. I had to get out of there because I saw the writing on the wall. I see what's coming up ahead. It ain't pretty. It ain't gonna get no better before it get a whole lot worse first. And I was just removing myself out of self-preservation and protection. The goal is to drive you insane, drive you up against a wall in the corner to the point where you have no other option but to come out swinging. And that's what they want, because that's when they can really bring out the big guns. So be careful, family. My advice is I can only give advice and counsel and recommendations, but the final decision is going to always be yours and yours alone. But I would advise that if you're in these major metropolitan cities, if you're completely dependent on the system for electricity, for running water through pipes, right, through your food coming from a grocery store, if you're fully, totally dependent on the system for everything you need in life in order to survive, I would really, really implore you to look at some other avenues of self-preservation, because it's getting serious. It's getting serious, and it's not just going to go away. That's not the plan, because I get why they do what they do. It's self-preservation for them. They have to do this in order to survive themselves, really and truly, if you understood it deep enough. I saw just where they had there was an Australian news reporter, a woman, and they actually turned the gun right to her and shot her right in the back with a rubber bullet. All that's planned, that's intentional. That's to get you riled up, right? Riled up to want to fight back. Don't be a sitting duck. You always have options. There's no such thing as, oh, well, it's nothing I can do. You have free will. You have free will to make choices for your own life and not sit around and wait for the second shoe to drop. So take matters into your own hand and take your life back and make choices that is going to be best for you and your loved ones. Okay, family, take care of each other out there. Peace.